What is up, Sneeples? Part of Mistveil draft is here, and we have the tools and tricks to help you go 3-0 with the Illusionist Enigma. But first, if you want even more draft details, some draft tier lists, even some drafting videos, we have a Patreon that you can subscribe to get even more limited knowledge. Enigma plays to be defensive and aggressive all at the same time. You are looking to get the most maximum value out of your wards, being able to attack and defend with them. She has the ability to have your first Spectral attack swing in for free, and using her chi ability, you can make Spectral shields with a +1/+1 counter on them. And these counters are very good because if we look at her weapon, any auras we have with a +1 counter on it has go again. So we're looking to get as many ward auras as we can, as well as trying to give them as many +1 counters as possible. So let's get into what we are drafting at the highest. First and foremost, we have our Mystic Illusionist cards. These are our instant auras, and the top priority one is Waxing Spectre. Waxing Spectre comes in at instant speed so that it doesn't take up an action point to play it, and then it also comes in with a counter as long as you pitch a blue, which, by the way, we're drafting a ton of blue, so that won't be so much of a problem. Waxing Spectre being a 4/4 with go again with Ward 3 is just so very good. We like this card. We will draft it very highly. Waning Vengeance is another one. This only comes in for 3 and it doesn't have a counter, but it does make a Spectral shield when it is destroyed, as long as you have pitched a blue for that turn. So it can come in for a good amount of damage, absorb a good amount of damage, and even give us a Spectral shield at the end. Finally, Haze Shelter is just good block value. I mean, it can block Ward 4 for us, and then it can attack for 4 as well. We can play it with a blue, attack at the same turn, get the 4 points of damage, and then being able to absorb 4 points as well. So these Mystic Illusionist cards are going to be very important for our draft. We are going to be looking for them, particularly in red, with some of them in blue, like Waxing Spectre and Waning Vengeance in blue is still pretty good. The other thing we're going to be looking for is putting counters on our auras, and so the 2 cards that allow us to do this is Spectral Manifestation as well as Astral Etchings, and I hold these pretty high priority as well. As again, they're going to make us a Spectral shield with Spectral Manifestation with +1/+1 counters, so we can come in for 4 go again. This one only has Ward 1, it is just Spectral shield, but still just being able to make that is really good. And then the Astral Etchings, being able to block 3, being able to play at instant speed as long as control Spectra, and being able to put counters on to give instant speed go again. Just also a very good card. So these are cards that we're going to be looking for as well highly in the draft. But after that, it's really just blues for the most part with a few reds here and there. So let me talk about some of the reds we might be looking for. Vengeful Apparition. This card has grown on me quite a bit. This card is very good, particularly if you have a lot of 0-cost auras or even 2-cost auras. I like this card in red and blue. I think it works very well with this next card, which is Sigil of Solitude. This being in red is a 0/4, and then if you can cheat it out with Vengeful Apparition, it can be a 0/5 with Go Again. I like this combo quite a bit. I'm not going to draft for it highly, but if I can kind of see some of the pieces in the mid rounds, I'll go for it there. Some other cards you can look for is generic cards. Battlefront Bastion is a great card. Blocks very well. I like this in blue, yellow, and red. Fact-finding Mission, because we're running so many blues, I'm totally fine playing, as well as Blanche. These are generics, but they're cards that I'll hold at a fairly high priority only because of how many blues are going to be drafting that we can afford to play this fairly often. Now let's talk about the blues, because that's really where the bulk of our draft is. And what we're looking for with blues is blue block 3s in particular. We're really looking for blue block 3s that our new opponents can't use against us, because the assassins, they will use our cards. They'll use our first tenant of chi cards. They'll use our second tenant of chi cards. They'll use it against us. So even though those cards do block 3 and they are blue, We kind of want to choose other blues that block 3 before them, like Wounding Blow. Yeah, it's just a blue block 3, that'll work. Single-Minded Determination, Astral Etchings, like any blue that just isn't going to work for them so well, we will draft before the first tenant and second tenant. But you still might just have to draft those cards. They are blue block 3s. They are going to help with the mirror match. They are going to help with Zen, and they are blue. So the first tenants and second tenants shouldn't be ignored completely, but you should just be careful with how you're drafting them. Just keep these numbers in mind. You want to draft 15 to 20 blues, pretty good ratio for you. With that, you want anywhere from 4 to 5 transcend cards in draft. You don't want too many because you do just want block cards, but you do want more transcend cards than any of the other heroes because her ability is just very, very good. With your reds, just make them the good reds. If you don't see a lot of good reds, don't fret. I've won drafts with just 6 reds in my deck, so it's not the biggest thing. You can get a few yellows in there too. As long as you have enough blues and a few good bombs, you actually will be fine with Enigma. So go out there, have some fun with her, practice, practice, practice. And if you want more information, we are going to have a draft primer video coming out after these how to draft videos. You can find more information there. And again, we do have a Patreon. Here's our Patreon subscribers. Thank you guys so much for being a Patreon subscriber. If you want to be one too, get some more information, go find our Patreon. But until then, keep on fabbing.